courts of law or in personal and cultural narratives, but also in historical analyses. Nevertheless, it is important to understand the parameters of the persecution and collective violence that affected so many people, and the lingering consequences that continue to affect us today. Scholars at the time of the Hebrew Bible had already noted that of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 12. This, of all books, feels like one that cannot ever in principle be finished. No analysis of this topic can be exhaustive or final. But there comes a point when it is important simply to stop and to pass on the interim outcome of the exploration. It is my hope that, despite the selectivity and omissions that are inevitable in such a vast area, the book serves to map some of the contours of the tip of an incredibly significant iceberg. We are far from finished with these questions. There is far more to be explored. 1. The significance of the Nazi past. In January 1942, a man known as Schwammek, almost certainly not his real name, managed to escape from the death camp of Helmino nad Nedem in the Vaterland, a part of western Poland annexed by Nazi Germany. He recounted to the rabbi and the residents of a nearby small town, Grabov, how he had witnessed the gassing of innumerable local Jewish communities from the towns and villages all around the area, how he had seen members of his own family murdered, and how he had helped to dig the graves for those deported from the large ghetto of Litzmannstadt, as the Germans had renamed the Polish city of Łódź. The murdered included both Jews and members of the Roma and Sinti communities, whom Schwammek, like others at the time, simply termed gypsies. From Grabov, Schwammek made his way to the Warsaw Ghetto, where on March 25, 1942, his account was taken down in writing by those in the ghetto recording their terrible experiences. He managed to get out of the ghetto and made it as far as Zamość. But although the details of where and when he was later murdered are unclear, it is certain that he did not manage to survive the war. His account of the horrific events taking place in the Nazis' first dedicated extermination center, recounted so close to the experiences in question, is unique. Schwammek was one of only 7 people to escape from Helmino. 3 of the others later gave testimony in the context of investigations and trials. Schwammek's account is deeply harrowing. He details, day by day, almost hour by hour, the process of murder in the small hamlet of Helmino and the nearby forest. He gives a precise account of the way in which new arrivals at the Helmino mansion, often termed a palace but simply a manor house, were deceived, greeted in a kindly way by an elderly German who told them with courtesy how they would need to take a bath before continuing their journey and should undress and hand over their valuables separately, and who then guided them to the stairs leading down to a specially adapted vehicle in which they would within the hour be asphyxiated by exhaust fumes. Schwammek gives a terrifying but entirely matter-of-fact description of the arrival of the gas vans in the forest clearing, some 4 kilometers distant. When people were murdered in these vans, the screams could be heard for around 15 minutes before the driver checked through a peephole to confirm that all were dead. On pulling out the corpses, some families were so closely embracing each other that the guards had to order the Jewish gravediggers to cut their limbs. Schwammek provides one of the very few accounts we have of the end of a community of Roma people. They were lying in their own excrements, their bodies entangled. They looked as if they had just been put to sleep. Their faces were not pale, but had a natural skin color. The bodies were still warm, so the pit